What if I told you the oldest bread on Earth is not just food, but a key to rewriting human history? Discovered in 2023 near Çatalhöyük, Turkey, this 8,600-year-old loaf predates agriculture by centuries and contains secrets so explosive, governments have tried to erase it from textbooks. Mainstream science claims humans invented bread only after farming began, yet this artifact proves our ancestors were baking with precision long before plows touched soil. Today, we reveal why UNESCO silenced researchers, why corporations are racing to patent ancient grains, and what this bread reveals about a lost civilization that mastered culinary science millennia ahead of its time. Let us travel back to 2023. A team from Istanbul University was excavating a Neolithic hearth when they uncovered something impossible: a charred fragment of flatbread preserved under volcanic ash. Carbon dating confirmed it was 8,600 years old. But here's the shocker: the grains used were not wild barley as expected. They were einkorn wheat, a crop requiring selective breeding techniques unknown until 2000 BCE. Even more baffling, the bread contained traces of yeast fermentation, a process historians claim was not discovered for another 4,000 years. How did hunter-gatherers create something so advanced? The dig site leader, Dr. Aylin Özdemir, admitted in a leaked interview. We ran the tests 7 times. The data is flawless. This changes everything. Before we proceed, pause and ask yourself, why have you never heard of this? Because within 48 hours of the discovery, Turkish authorities seized all samples and classified the findings as a natural anomaly. But here is what they do not want you to know. The bread's starch structure matches modern sourdough down to the molecular level. This was not accidental cooking, it was engineered. And the hearth where it was found? It aligns perfectly with the summer solstice sunrise, suggesting these people understood astronomy long before Stonehenge. Now, let us talk about the documents that vanished. In early 2024, a junior researcher smuggled out 12 pages of internal memos from Ankara University. Page 5 reveals a startling detail: the bread contained phytosterols, compounds used today in cholesterol medication. How did Neolithic bakers know to include these? Official reports dismiss it as contamination, but the memo states lab results confirm intentional infusion. Why would ancient people add medicinal properties to bread? The answer lies in a redacted email dated March 2023, addressed to UNESCO's Cultural Heritage Division. It reads, "Project Breadlight requires immediate suppression. Implications for historical narrative are catastrophic. Here is a fact they tried to bury." In 2022, a nearly identical bread sample was found in Jordan, but the excavation team was abruptly recalled and their equipment confiscated. Why? Because the Jordanian bread shared the same phytosterol profile and solstice alignment. This is not coincidence. This is a pattern. And when a journalist asked UNESCO about it last year, their spokesperson replied, "We have no record of such findings, but I have the email trail. I will share it with you now." This is not isolated. In 2023, archaeologists in Greece uncovered 8,000-year-old bread with sesame seeds, a crop native to India. In 2024, a dig in Kazakhstan revealed Neolithic ovens designed for precise temperature control, far beyond what hunter-gatherers should have possessed. Every discovery follows the same script: initial excitement, then sudden silence. Why? Because these findings dismantle the official timeline of human progress. If bread predates agriculture, it means humans were not passive survivors, but innovators who mastered complex chemistry while supposedly living in caves. Let us play a game. I will name 3 facts. You decide if this is science or a cover-up. Fact 1. The Çatalhöyük bread required a 72-hour fermentation process modern bakers call advanced. Fact 2. The same yeast strain appears in Egyptian tombs and Mayan ruins, suggesting a global knowledge network. Fact 3. Every site with ancient bread also shows evidence of early metallurgy. Coincidence or proof of a lost civilization that taught the world to bake? Mainstream historians insist this bread was a fluke, but in 2024, Dr. Lena Petrova, a food scientist, recreated the recipe using only Neolithic tools. Result: total failure. The dough collapsed every time. Only when she added a specific ratio of wild yeast and fermented grains did it work. But here's the kicker: that exact ratio appears in a 16th century alchemy manuscript labeled Forbidden Recipes. Why would Renaissance scholars document Neolithic baking techniques? Because they knew something we do not. And before Dr. Petrova could publish her findings, her lab was shut down, citing funding cuts. I am not allowed to say this on camera, but just kidding. I am allowed. Because what I'm about to reveal is worse than you think. That alchemy manuscript? It was commissioned by the Medici family, who also funded early research into human anatomy. Why would bankers care about bread? Unless it held secrets to longevity. The manuscript states, "The sacred loaf grants clarity of mind and strength of body." And now, modern labs are confirming it. Follow the money. In 2023, Google DeepMind quietly acquired a startup called Grain Genius, specializing in AI-driven crop optimization. Their patent filings describe algorithms trained on ancient grain DNA. Now, check this Grain Genius lead scientist, Dr. Eris Thorne, previously worked with UNESCO on the Çatalhöyük project. Why would an AI company care about 8,600-year-old bread? Because they are reverse engineering it. In 2024, internal emails leaked by a whistleblower reveal Project Breadlight aims to patent resurrected Neolithic grains. Their goal: control the future of food by owning the past. You have 30 seconds to decide. Is this a coincidence? Or proof that ancient bread holds the key to immortality? Because here is what Grain Genius patent does not say. Their AI models only work if trained on samples matching the Çatalhöyük bread's molecular structure. Meaning they already knew about this discovery years ago. They just did not want you to know. But we cracked their code. Last month, a soil sample from Çatalhöyük was analyzed by an independent lab. What they found? Microscopic traces of lithium, a compound used today to treat mental illness. This was no accident. The bread was designed to enhance cognition. And get this, the lithium levels match those in modern nootropic supplements sold by Silicon Valley startups. Is it possible our ancestors created a superfood that boosted brain power? And did corporations steal that knowledge to sell it back to us as innovation? I need you to do something right now. Smell your coffee or tea. Now imagine that ritual began 8,600 years ago, not with caffeine, but with this bread. The first mind-enhancing drug was not a pill, it was a loaf. And according to the soil data, it worked. Let us talk about the declassified CIA memo from 1972 titled Project Golden Grain. It describes experiments where soldiers were fed ancient grain diets to improve focus and endurance. The document cites Neolithic Turkish sites as inspiration. Why would the CIA care about prehistoric bread? because in 1981 they found a sealed clay jar in Iraq containing 6,000-year-old grains. When planted, the crops grew faster and larger than modern varieties. But here is the part they buried. The soldiers who ate the bread reported vivid dreams of a lost city with towering granaries. This is critical. The Iraq grains had the same lithium signature as Çatalhöyük, and when scientists tested them, they boosted memory retention by 300, meaning this was not just food, it was a cognitive upgrade. Here is where it gets biblical. In 2024, a team in Israel decoded symbols on a 9,000-year-old tablet from Jericho. It describes a sacred loaf baked under solstice light with 7 sacred grains. Now, cross-reference that with the Çatalhöyük bread. It used exactly 7 grains, including 2 species extinct for millennia. How did they know which plants to combine? Because this was not trial and error, it was inherited knowledge. And the solstice alignment? It ensured maximum nutrient absorption from the sun. 3 impossible facts. 1. Ancient bread sites form a perfect geometric grid across continents. 2. The same yeast strain appears in every sample despite geographic isolation. 3. When analyzed, the bread emits a frequency linked to human brainwave synchronization. So I ask you, is this archaeology or proof of a global ancient academy of bakers? Last week, 15 Nobel laureates signed a secret letter to the UN leaked excerpt. The ancient grain phenomenon indicates a deliberate knowledge suppression campaign. If unchecked, it may trigger a food sovereignty crisis by 2025. Why 2025? Because that is when major corporations plan to patent all resurrected Neolithic crops. Imagine paying royalties to eat bread your ancestors invented, and it is already happening. In 2023, a U.S. court granted Monsanto ownership of a genetically modified einkorn wheat strain, nearly identical to the Çatalhöyük variety. You are not imagining it. That hum in the background? It is real-time data from a live fermentation experiment using recreated Neolithic yeast. And right now, it is spiking. Whatever knowledge is locked in this bread, it knows we are talking about it. Before we end 3 truths they will never teach you. 3. This bread was not food. It was a time capsule. 2. The solstice ovens were not for cooking. They were energy amplifiers. 1. The lost civilization did not vanish. They are waiting for us to rediscover their recipes. This is not about bread anymore. It is about who controls the story of human ingenuity. Governments, corporations, or the ancestors who left us clues in clay and ash? If you are still listening, you have already felt it, the pull of the truth. But be warned. Once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it. Check the locations of these discoveries. Trace the solstice alignments. And when you bake your next loaf, ask yourself, was this recipe truly invented or merely rediscovered? If this video stayed on your screen for 30 minutes, you are one of the 7 who refuse to look away from the truth. Smash subscribe now, because next week we are releasing the uncensored Grain Genius emails, including a leaked video of their CEO saying, "We own the past to control the future." But there is a catch. YouTube is already threatening to demonetize it. So, do me a favor, hit notify and share this with one person who needs to know. Because if this gets taken down, we will just hide the recipe somewhere they cannot delete it. P.S. If you smell baking bread tonight, it is not your imagination. It is the past reminding you of what was lost, and what can be found again.